to college from Seaside Park, New Jersey. She is majoring in government with a minor in math. During her time on the Hilltop, Murphy Kate has been involved with GAAP since her freshman year and has served as the organization's president for the past 2 years. She has also held positions in various student organizations, including the Senior Parents Weekend Chair of the Senior Class Committee, the President of Interhall, and the Chair of the Gussa Fund. Additionally, Murphy Kate has worked as a resident assistant for freshmen in Darnell Hall and for the Alumni Association as a student ambassador for the Discovery Initiative. Still left to accomplish on her Georgetown bucket list include completing the Tombs 99 Days Club Challenge and, of course, stealing the Healy Clock Tower hands. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Murphy Kate Delaney.
Good morning again. In 1988, former president of Georgetown, Father Tim Healy, wrote an article for the Washington Post titled, "What We Can't Tell Freshmen." The thesis of his article was centered on the idea that freshmen have absolutely no idea how nostalgically, reverently, or passionately they will feel about Georgetown as they approach graduation when they are seniors. Father Healy might have believed he could not tell freshmen such insight about their future lives and happiness on the Hilltop. However, I'm going to go out on a limb and disagree with Father Healy on this. I believe that these secrets, the secrets about what makes Georgetown more than simply a prestigious university, the secrets that allow you to begin to grasp the heart and soul of this place, are exactly what you need to hear today. So please allow me to share with you what I can tell freshmen, or more appropriately, what I can tell the accepted students of the class of 2017. I can tell you that 4 years ago today, I sat in Gaston Hall during my own GAAP weekend, and probably like many of you, was wondering whether or not I was supposed to be a Hoya. The May 1st decision deadline was looming near, and yet I had no idea how I was supposed to decide where I wanted to go to college. But as I sat right there in about the 4th or 5th row of Gaston Hall, I listened to a senior gush about how insanely jealous she was of the 4 years my future Hoyas and I had in front of us at Georgetown. To be honest, I remember very little of the actual content of her speech, but I can still feel the passion for Georgetown that was evident with every word she spoke. I can tell you that today, the word jealous does not even begin to describe my feelings for each of you and the 4 years you have before you. For at Georgetown, you can soon be a part of the 224-year-old tradition of this campus that is electrifying from the moment you first walk through the front gates until the second you walk across Healy Lawn with a diploma in hand. You have each been invited to join this tradition that will be with you not only during your 4 years here, but throughout the rest of your life if you choose to become a part of it. I can tell you that coming to Georgetown will profoundly change you for the better in ways you cannot even begin to imagine. And I can tell you that at Georgetown, the opportunities you will have in 4 years will be more than you can imagine experiencing in an entire lifetime. You will meet a best friend from a country you barely even knew existed. You will dance on this stage surrounded by 500 fellow Hoyas in a Southeast Asian cultural showcase. You will trek across the Key Bridge during snowpocalypse screaming Hoya Saxa, following a huge basketball victory against Duke. You will take a class taught by the woman who was Al Gore's campaign manager, and another taught by a man who was casually considered to be President Obama's next chief of staff. You will sit in the same seats you are sitting in this morning to hear Hillary Clinton, Madeleine Albright, Bono, and Bradley Cooper speak on stage in Gaston Hall. You will have dinner overlooking Georgetown in Riggs Library while sitting at the same table as the president of the university. You will spend Friday afternoons in the spring sitting on the front lawn with a Jugsburger in hand and your best friends by your side. You will experience moments of transcendence when you hear the chime of the Healy Clock Tower bells. You will reflect on the world around you more seriously than you have in your past. You will be challenged in ways that solidify your beliefs and allow you to consider things from perspectives once foreign to you, you will become more passionate about your extracurriculars, your classes, and your Georgetown family than anything you've been passionate about in your entire life. I can tell you that at Georgetown, you will encounter some of the most intelligent and yet caring professors in the world. I found myself in quite a conundrum in December of my junior year when I somehow managed to sleep through my exam for my political philosophy of Plato class. Now, it's important to know that this class was taught by Father Shaw, an 85-year-old, well-renowned Jesuit professor who is a Georgetown legend. He is terrifyingly brilliant, and I was beyond afraid to enter the classroom after sleeping through his exam. Yet, as I grudgingly walked into the classroom, just as the last student handed an exam, Father Shaw's eyes lit up when he saw me, and his face turned into a huge smile. For it's important to know that during his exams, Father Shaw walks around to each and every student to personally thank them for being in the class, briefly chats about their family or Hoyas basketball or anything about life in general. So naturally, I walk in and he says, "Miss Delaney, I was so sad that I somehow missed you before you turned in your exam. Thank you for coming back to say goodbye." I immediately began my desperate plea. No, Father, you didn't miss me. I didn't take the exam as I slept through it. This was naturally followed by a slew of apologies. Father Shaw looked puzzled for just a moment before he continued, "But thank you for coming back to say goodbye." My confused response began, "Father, I don't think you understand." Yet, Father Shaw did understand. He brushed off my mistake and told me about the time he slept through an exam he was supposed to give. As I was still shaking in disbelief, Father Shaw reassured me that I could take the exam immediately. It was in that moment of pure kindness that I not only decided the man should be a saint, but found myself a lifelong friend in Father Shaw. For I can tell you that at Georgetown, such a story of sincere concern for the students is not uncommon. In fact, it is the norm. Georgetown places a major emphasis on what Father O'Brien was talking about, that cura personalis, the care for the whole person. And I can tell you that I've experienced this care and genuine interest in who I am as a person from not only my professors, but most significantly from my peers. I never would have entered the classroom on that day if I hadn't run into a friend along the way who took the time out of his day to give me a hug and the confidence to walk into the classroom to speak to Father Shaw. For I can tell you that the friends you will make at Georgetown are not the run-of-the-mill college students. They're extraordinary individuals who will constantly impress you every single day and who will be there for you long after your years at Georgetown come to an end. I can tell you that the moments of overwhelming success you will experience at Georgetown will be greater than any success you've yet to know. For the success will be measured in ways you have never even considered. For the past 2 years, I've been an RA for a total of over 100 freshmen in Darnell Hall. You, like most of my friends, might ask why I would ever choose to live with freshmen. Perfectly valid question. I often jokingly respond that it's because I get 2 closets in my room, and while yes, this is a really, really nice perk, the truthful answer is so much deeper than that. Being an RA for freshmen has given me the opportunity to share my love of Georgetown with students who, just like you, really do not know what they are getting themselves into. I have the opportunity to watch them grow from timid Georgetown students during their first days here into confident, bold Hoyas who have thrown themselves into this vibrant community that surrounds them. I consider some of my greatest successes to be the personal achievements of my residents. Reading the Hoya and seeing an article written by one of them, or hearing they just became the president of this student organization or vice president of that club, or simply giving them a high five when they got an A. Never in a million years would I have thought that I would be so proud to boast about the successful accomplishments of others. Nor would I have thought that my friends and fellow Hoyas would be so proud to boast about my own personal achievements. The camaraderie amongst the student body at Georgetown is something that truly sets it apart from other universities. In a similar sense, I can tell you that bleeding Hoya blue runs deep within the veins of every student on the hilltop, but that those words mean something unique for every Hoya here. E.B. White once said, "If the world were merely seductive, that would be easy. If it were merely challenging, that would be no problem. But I rise in the morning torn between a desire to save the world and a desire to savor it. This makes it hard to plan the day. This is a constant struggle in the life of a Georgetown student. We have a passion to give back to our Georgetown community and the greater world around us. We are seduced by the idea of always giving of our time and talents to the activities that truly become our lives at Georgetown. Yet, we manage to find time to savor every second of it, for we know that these days walking across those sacred Georgetown cobblestones are but limited. Most importantly, I can tell you that if you choose to come to Georgetown, one day, 4 years from now, you will look back on the 4 years you spent here and never want to leave. I can tell you that Georgetown is so much more than a great school and a good place to spend your 4 years of college. It's my home, and I can promise you that it will be your home too. The last, perhaps not so secret thing I can tell you today is that I love this place more than words can ever describe. It is with a heavy heart that I share with you what I can tell freshmen, but it helps to know that I can leave the hilltop behind to another class of Hoyas fully prepared to make it their own. For when you choose to come to Georgetown, I can tell, in fact, I can promise you that you will fall madly in love with these 104 acres on the hilltop overlooking our nation's capital. So remember to pinch yourself as you walk around campus this weekend. The glory of Georgetown that surrounds you can all be yours. Hoya Saxa class of 2017, I'll see you all at homecoming in the fall.